All right, so for the past 2 weeks, I have been learning how to play Akali in the mid lane. My name is Nikos, or Nico, Nick, whatever you want to call me. I'm a low elo bronze player in the game of League of Legends, currently focusing on mid lane, and specifically, I am focusing on assassins. This has been something that I felt has synergized well for me, and I want to bring you guys along for the journey. Getting started, I decided to go with Akali. Akali was a character that was a great assassin. She seemed like she has a ton of different ways to get in and out of fights, and it's something that looked enjoyable to me. So for the past 2 weeks, I played about 20 games on her, and this has what I've learned so far. The big thing with Akali that I learned after playing about 20 games of her in bronze was that she is super aggressive. It's really important to play her aggressively, but also to be aware of how the enemy is playing on the team. The enemy is coming off like super scared and backing off. Usually they're gonna allow you to push the wave in, which, I mean, is good if you wanna push the wave in and then roam and get an early kill gank. You can most definitely do that. However, if you push the wave in and don't roam and you sit there under their enemy tower, it's really easy for their jungler to come in and kill you off. It's also really important too, I've learned that with Akali, her level 1 is super weak. Especially if people know this, they will poke you out of lane and keep you away from the wave. Luckily, as a fellow low elo player, I have seen that a lot of other low elo players do not know this, and they would let me walk up to the lane easily. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're totally just letting me get CS for no reason. They could just poke me out of lane, especially like mage casters. I don't know why, but the people who have poke from far away don't even have to get up and hit me like a melee character, would not poke me when I would go up to lane. And I was just like, okay, so it's something that I had to remind myself of, like, this is low elo, and yes, I am also low elo. There are things that I am doing wrong. I've learned that I'm really good at laning, not necessarily team fights, not late game, and that is why I've lost a lot of my games, and it's something that I'm trying to get better at. Another thing too that I learned or have learned by playing Akali is when you roam to the top lane or the bot lane, if your lane teammates are pushed in on the enemy turret and you haven't pinged, or maybe they aren't comfortable diving enemy turrets, it can really be a risk for you as an assassin trying to get a pick in the bot lane or in the top lane. There have been many times where I have pinged to dive the enemy turret, go in on the enemy, and then my teammates back off because one, they were either scared or don't know how to properly dive the enemy turret because they're afraid of the big, and then hitting them. And so I would say something I've learned is maybe being aware of, do your teammates know how to dive enemy turrets, including myself, because I'm still learning, and there's probably things that I was doing wrong too, but it's something to be aware of. Maybe wait until they're more pushed out, especially if you don't know. Overall, the other thing that I've learned with Akali is getting picks, especially in team fights, positioning. Do not be the first one into the fight, especially against 5 people as one. You're gonna die right away. Some of you probably are laughing at this video saying this kid obviously knows nothing. You're right, I do not. That's why I'm learning this game, and I'm bringing you along in the journey to see if anybody can relate with me and trying to learn, because it is not easy. I've only played this game for about 9 months. I used to play it a couple years ago off and on, but ultimately I've only really played it about 9 months to a year now, and so there's a lot that I don't know. Something as well that I learned with Akali is that her W, her shadow, resets her energy. So if you're really low on energy, I didn't know this, I didn't realize it while I was playing her until I started to see her energy bar go back up, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And yeah, pay attention to how champions work, or maybe look them up, but I was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna try to figure this out on my own, see what is best, but use that sparingly. If you're going into fights, save the shadow for later, get rid of all of your energy, and then you can cast it to hide, and then get more energy to finish off that laner. It's definitely something that's effective with your E. If you E the enemy first, go in with your shadow, they can't see you, and then you can kind of poke in and out. It's a good way to keep your energy up and secure that kill. And so that is definitely something I learned playing Akali that I didn't realize when I first started playing her. Going back to team fights, it's really important to, I try to figure out if they're a squishy, to focus them, especially the ADC. Get the ADC out as fast as you can. You can get in with your ult, use the shadow, I don't know what the move is or what it's called, and then go back in with your E, finish with your Q, get out with your R. Boom. That's something that I have been trying to do. It's something I've learned. Maybe that combo is really bad. Maybe you're sitting here like not the best. If you have a better suggestion, please comment it down below. Overall, I think Akali is really fun, and she is in my roster of 5 characters that I am going to be maining as my champ pool. Again, I've heard the theory of you need to focus one character because then you can learn the other mechanics of the game rather than learn the characters. Personally, I just get really bored, and so I am going to have 5 champions in my pool. I'm really going to only focus 2 of them in rank, and the other 3 are just going to be backups just in case I can't play those 2 characters. I haven't done the process of the 2 weeks of other characters yet, but so far, Akali has been something that I've synergized really well with. I have played all 5 of these characters, and after playing 20 games of her, she is something that I picked up really easily on. It feels really nice when you land the E, the shuriken dagger. I feel like I can just delete an enemy instantaneously. So let me know your thoughts. Is Akali a great assassin? And if so, what are some other tips you have that could get me out of low elo into that high elo bracket? Specifically, the problem that I have is team fights and late game objectives. That's normally why I lose my games, is not knowing how to team fight properly, how to get into fights properly, but also how to or who to focus in a team fight. So I'd love your advice. I'm gonna put a video on my experience with Akali later this week. But yeah, this has been my journey, episode 1 of learning assassins in the mid lane, specifically Akali. I hope to catch you on the next one next time on my thoughts on the next assassin I play.